Okay.
Maybe 6 months. But
She wrote it, that's what she was saying.
He had his own movies, like, they never turned to sponsors for him.
I wanted to see this.
All right, I'll call the personnel meeting to order on Thursday, April 24th at 5:35. All members are present. We are going to discuss the personnel manual. The only elected official that I heard from was Dawn. Clerk Moffitt. Did anybody hear from anybody else elected official wise on feedback from that? No. Elected officials that are here. Yes, sir.
I did last meeting say we should adopt the AACs and then amend that, so that was my input on the personnel policy.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is our question and proposal. Do we want to adopt the AAC one and make changes that fit our county, or keep the existing one and make changes to that?
I would say if we choose to want to move forward and adopt the AAC, that we already have amendments with us at that time, because there are some language in there that would not be beneficial to a county of our size, but using that as a template, going through there and having amendments at the same time, so all those can be done in the same meeting. Yes. If that's the decision you all wanted to go.
Because there's some in the AAC that are good, but there's some in ours that are good, and there's ones that don't overlap.
Correct.
Do you feel that the AAC one is better than changing the one we have?
As a whole, yes, I do, because that's where your attorneys and all your legalities and your lawsuits are going to come from, people of the AAC protecting us. Yes.
I need someone to make a motion, which way we want to go.
Motion to adopt the AAC.
Colt made a motion to adopt the AAC one. Is there a second? I'll second it. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, we will adopt the AAC one.
But we do need to amend that. Our account.
Who's who has a board? That's what we're gonna start doing right now. Leslie sent it to us, thank you, yes. Had a long day, sorry. That's what I'm trying to find, because I know she sent it to us and I can't find it.
I sent it, March the 28th.
Thank you. Do you still have that, Leslie? I can't. I can't find it yet.
I got it.
Oh, you got
I
it?
need you, Candace.
Keep it, Joe.
More open.
I think it's the file, because it's, I can't open it either, and then it doesn't.
Oh,
That slide up now and freezes.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Where's that?
Check.
I can't even find it. It's fine.
Yes. Try to find the forward button.
We will get these tablets
I was
figured
like,
out.
I know there's a forward button.
You get it?
Yep, okay, so took me a minute to find it.
As far as we can, yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah. This is what we're doing, so there's two. So I think two is
Yes.
whether it's not filmed or not. I gotta do it. No, he's on the way. I said, yeah. That's it. I had.
Sandy, did your email come from Johnson?
They're showing Joe.
Well, where's it? And
I was very. I get it. I'll be back. I'll start covering.
I like how she's like spinning.
Cover stairs, cover stairs. You know, I have a question mark too, but it came off, but it turns off. Go to your mom. I know that there's lots. If not, I'll wait till that.
yeah, I'm reconnecting.
That day, Dodge Charger. Now mine's the only third out behind.
You might have to read
Couldn't get mine. Couldn't find it. We all got right away. Couldn't get them out. Yeah, an hour and a half later, walking up the stairs. I don't, he didn't break that thing. He just couldn't, he couldn't get up the hill. He ended up walking the rest of it. So he was about 8. That's the shape. He's on top of that hill. Yeah, I was an hour and a half later. I was on there. He calls. He's coming from us. So now he's there. He gets the horse. Half an hour. Well, we're not gonna have something. That's the best.
We good? Are we good?
So,
Good, Phil, one week.
It's just trying to remember to remind me, who's power every time? I'll have to make your.
Let's take it on.
all right, does everybody have enough now? Page 4, looks like is whenever it starts. Anything under the introduction and purpose? Any questions, concerns, changes?
Well, I've never seen the ten, then they get a ten away. And then I'll listen to it, I'm calling, Steve, I'm always like, this was, yeah, I've never seen it.
All right, to move on to county policy and directives. Am I supposed to read this like per line here? This is 29 pages.
For what?
As we're going through this,
For the AAC?
yes.
No, what I would do is I'd have one presented in ordinance type form that with amendments to it. Like at your leisure, at your house, go through, amend things down. You can spend hours doing this if you wanted to. I
Everyone
would,
was supposed to read this before we came here so we could start working on the amendments now. This is what we're gonna do. That's the understanding I was at.
on the AAC policy or our own policy?
So,
Okay. But you take the time you want to work on it right now. If I was up there, I would say, hey, we need to bottleneck this down, move some things back and forth, have a meeting of some amendments we have in there before we present an ordinance to the courts. But you can take as much time as you want going through it. But right now, there's just amendments and one-twos, nothing's on, ordinance format to be voted on.
So the thing that John said, is that
it was on our policy.
right?
I might suggest that you email, I know this one's gone out to the elected officials. You might do it again and say, this is the template we are going to use. That's what I just said. But now that we've agreed to adopt it and recommend it, what changes do you want from this? Just a suggestion.
Thank you.
Can I ask those in the past, what has been the biggest issues with the personnel policy?
Biggest issues that I get from my employees is the comp language, the amount of sick time that they're allowed. Both of those were changed when the county was almost bankrupt. So I'm not going to argue or try to pose blame at that time because I think special steps were taken at that time during 2019, 2020 when we didn't have a lot of money and we weren't sure how things were going to work out. And the maternity leave is a four-sentence paragraph that seems to be written by, you can just go ahead and guess, I don't know. It's disgusting. I mean, I think the language says they have to ask permission from the department head before they can have a baby. I don't even know where that comes from. So those would be my first three to look at.
There's no maternity one in the AAC.
Okay,
It's
yes,
just FMLA is what's
gotcha.
listed as.
And nowadays, I know that some companies allow the men to have time off as well and be paid. So those are things we'd have to discuss. But yeah, but the one we have now is not good.
So question, we come up with different things, present it as an ordinance to the court. And does the court have to go through each and every one?
No,
Or can they roll
I
part
would
of
do
it?
that here.
It's all here,
Yes.
it's either this is,
What you would send to the court is your finalized version of what the five of you decide is going to be a good personnel policy to go forward with Marion County. And I appreciate y'all tackling this. It's not gonna be an easy go, but it's something that needs to be done. And it's been looked over for years.
This is,
Along the same lines, as long as you're gonna be looking at comp time, sick time, you might also look at vacation, payout time. Or policy, sorry.
we also talked about one of the meetings, the catastrophic leave,
Yes.
sick leave thing, type thing for people as well.
I think for us, the 12-hour employee benefits, of 12-hour employees versus an 8-hour employee for us is.
There were some laws that have changed recently, and we sent three or four people down to Little Rock today to get caught up on the law. And I think the judge sent somebody, Shane, it may have been down
So
there.
you shut that by the cultural annex or.
Okay, they went down there as well, so they'll have the newest and the latest changes that we're gonna need to look at. For the 12-hour employees is what I'm worried about.
I said both. Right?
You're right.
Yeah.
I was looking at it, there's some weekend Mark, Bill, Cassie, and Silas down
There you go.
I think someone had mentioned the funeral, what is it? Yeah,
It's one per calendar year.
yeah. I mean, being local, I got a lot of family.
Per calendar year, I thought.
A lot of local. You only get one death a year, maybe that's.
You do get 3 days, but it's only once a year.
Yeah.
So if you have more than one death in a family.
I like the 3 days. I like the 2 days travel at the elected official discretion. But I think the one time a year, I mean, I went to 3 funerals in the last 7 days. So some stuff happens. I get it. It doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
So I think, I mean, if the occurrence that you unblessedly have to go to more than one funeral in a year's time, you should be allowed to attend both those funerals and be paid for as a county employee.
I know our policy for where I work, hit lists, like it has to be, it can't be like your third
Correct.
cousin,
And
something
ours does
ridiculous
as well.
like that, it's like close.
It's a meeting.
Yes, like immediate family, yeah, not something crazy.
Correct.
Go ahead, Ms. Denise, sorry.
Does this cover mileage reimbursement rates and travel information? This is the first time I've looked at the AAC.
That's what I gave you.
Mr. Dorsey just gave me some information on that as well.
Okay.
What I handed her was on just the general guideline on business and travel, as far as expenses, mileage and whatnot, and I put some other information in that Karen had given me to actually show what the government, what I have on that is not, the government standard.
The GSA.
Yeah, it's not the standard GSA, but I didn't have time to modify it.
Okay.
But I've got the word document, email it to them if they need it.
Very good.
pay your $28.90. Said what she would.
Yeah, that needs to change, because I was looking at. We can look at the calendar. Yeah, right. So they need to change it, yeah.
Change Sunday to Saturday.
Yeah.
Run from Sunday to Saturday.
No, so.
Lucy says, I don't know this.
Oh, I didn't know this. I'll say the people. You gonna make me feel bad, I have to go back here. No, but just. She kept around, she dragged me in the boat. I don't know who you count, she dragged me in the boat. And I did that to make sense. Let me see my hand here, so.
Yes.
So that's going to be the biggest issue. Did everybody get the bonds? Because she asked me, I told her, no, everybody, she wanted to know, she just to me, the whole,
Probably had
me
got
and
it.
everybody, and I said everybody, she said that's the document, just the changes. Yeah, she wrote on it. And I said, well, we don't need to call it full
If that is. I don't know if it's not like that. That's not. I mean, that's really good.
I'm not even sure we are.
Well, your body was good.
So she's brand new last couple years.
Hey, does it say what a full-time employee is in the revised one you guys were looking at?
In our current, county's current one?
No, the one you're looking to adopt.
Oh, the one we're looking.
29 hours per week is part-time.
What?
That's what it says in peak in the new AAC, the AAC. Page 15. I think it said 29 hours. That's what we're for. Right.
Well, it says it 30 hours or less.
Well, it says a part-time county employee is an employee who works less than 40 hours a week. A regular part-time employee is hired to work less than a full work week on a non-seasonal basis and will be permitted to work no more than 29 hours per work week. So part-time,
Yeah.
less than 40 is considered part-time, but no more than 29.
Oh, that's good.
And
Just think about it.
5 to 30.
If you go.
It doesn't give hours, but in the employee classification above that, it says the county's normal business hours are 8 to 5. A full-time county employees are regularly works 40 hours a week with the county. But we're not open till 5, we're open till 4:30.
That's for sure.
It does have a note on the AAC manual that says you can change this language as needed. Keep in mind the points above on insurance and leave accrual if a part-time employee does work more hours.
Which one that threshold is? That's a junior question.
A week or 2 weeks?
A week. I'll just say Liddy looks like my family at dinner table.
They're not saying a word, are they?
And they got me.
Oh, they got their
So does our pay, let me ask you this, because I know we've discussed this before, and I don't remember what the answer was. They're saying that if I'm reading this correctly, the normal work week begins Sunday at midnight, it ends Saturday at 11:59.
That's the way our timesheets are.
Ours are Saturday and Friday. Law enforcement has Saturday.
What'd you say, Candace?
Don't you guys have Saturday workers?
But I mean, our
Which one works
timesheets, when you look at our timesheets,
Yeah,
they're
it's
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
It ends on, it ends on Friday.
I'm afraid to ask why.
Well, we do, well, I think we're going with the state, because I think that's how they do it, and they do the 26 pay period, weeks of pay period. We're kind of like syncing up with them.
So when we sync up with them, we're gonna have to go, the first day of the week is Sunday and the last day is Saturday. Sunday through Saturday.
Well, we can change that, that's what I'm saying, like, there's things like, it's stuff like that, like, when we go through this, like,
Yeah,
what do we, not that we have to do what we're doing now, I'm not saying that that's the right way or it's the wrong way, but how do you want to do this, like,
I know Baxter County does theirs, like, I think we kind of do ours like theirs too, where it's Saturday to
Friday?
yeah. I thought ours was the state, I guess not.
It's just Amazon, because that's the things that all the money.
Oh, okay,
Unemployment audits.
okay. Is that why counties do it that way? Okay, there was your answer.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Susie said that unemployment for reporting, it's easier to do Saturday to Friday.
And that's, you don't get that many people anymore. During COVID, it was a big deal, but now
Okay.
it's not a big deal. Theoretically.
I knew all the counties that were like, I was seeing that, they're all moving it. I just thought it was, and they're moving toward where the state was.
And that says the normal work period for law enforcement, including jailers and ambulance personnel, should be 171 hours per consecutive 28-day work period.
So we have 86 hours, because we go by a 14-day pay period, so they're 86-hour employees.
What did you say that was?
We just got that answered by AAC.
16. So you were 86 in a 14
Yes,
hour.
because we have if we had 28-day pay periods, that would be correct, but we have 14-day pay periods, so they're 86 hours. I just sent that documentation to Gina.
Okay. And even if you took 86 times 2, which would be your 28, you're at 172 hours of per hour difference. Okay. I'm making sure that's all jiving with. How much comp time do you accrue right now? What's your max?
40 hours.
this one.
We will write something up, but for the sheriff's office, we will need to have, when we send officers to the academy, that we need them to be able to accumulate more than 40 hours. And then whenever they get finished with their training, the 13-week school, then we can allow them to take off a couple of weeks after they get out of school and not have to pay them their salary. I mean, they'll get their pay scale or their pay while they're in school, but they're not earning overtime. It's not going to overtime.
It's just gonna be banked.
They just be back.
until
Then whenever they get out, we can allow them to take a couple of weeks off, and then after they get out of FTO training, then we can allow them another week. And then maybe they can save a week to, before they start gathering their leave time up. That's on a new employee.
So the sheriff's office does that, they don't have to wait on, here, when a comp time, they come back, it's time off, instead of a calendar year. Like when I first started, I couldn't get vacation for a year. Maybe 25 hours,
Is there any other
we've gone a long way.
questions or concerns, comments? No?
So, you
Did
never-
that input?
Yeah, yeah, if I could, yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going back with their, yeah, and then.
I think we need to email this one out to the elected officials and say, this is the one we're going to adopt. Any changes you want? Or any feedback.
Idea.
I want to add.
But how does that roll?
Basically, here's the template.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, to decide, what do you want to keep, what do you want to get rid of, what's.
And then weigh everybody's opinion.
Law
There
enforcement,
is one big
There's
change
such-
on the AAC versus what our policy already says on the vacation leave. So right now, we don't get vacation until we've been here a full year.
Mhm.
In this policy, it says after completing the first 3 months of continuous full-time, a regular employee can use whatever they have accrued, and we got it accruing at every 2 weeks, like 4 hours every 2 weeks versus right now we get a week after a year, after 2 years, you get 2 weeks, and then at 5 years, you get 3. That's how our bumps are. So, that may need to be considered. It's a lot different than what our current policy is.
Needs to be credited for use just as soon as possible after it's earned.
Tell me that again, you have,
After 3 months?
This says, the AAC policy says, after 3 months of continuous full-time work, you can use in increments of 0.25 hours. And it says that you are accruing 4 hours per biweekly pay period. But right now, our current policy is we do not get to use vacation time at all until we've earned it after our first full year.
So
You
you
get
get
sick,
I was gonna say,
so
what
on
happens if you,
vacation, you don't.
okay, that's what I was gonna say. I worked for a pretty good
Then you have 2 weeks.
Judge.
2 weeks.
Yes, I believe that in the past, again, we're a very small county, and the employees that we had here, waiting a year for 40 hours, which I'm not against if we stay that way, it keeps things simple. Every calendar year, you get another 40 hours until you get to your 5th year. But in corporations that go into the past, that have a larger human resources, so larger, extra comptrollers, keep track of things like this. After your 3rd month or 90-day probationary period, you do accrue a certain amount every pay period that banks. So in your 5th month in, you might have 4 days savings that you can use, but you got more people watching the numbers and paying attention. I believe the 40 hours based on the calendar year of 12 months is easier to keep track of. If we feel that we've made that step, we can go that direction, but I believe that's why it's in the policy that way, is because it's very easy to maintain and not to be confusing.
One of the reasons why we went to the FI system though is because it can be.
Oh, correct, no, I'm not disagreeing.
So we have the capability.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Track it.
Yeah, it's there.
That we didn't have before, is what I'm saying. If we left it the same, I'm not gonna argue it, that's a no, either direction, black and white. But if we wanted to move forward, we have the technology today and the people, the caliber of people we would need to keep track of that, no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, I know, like where I work, your first 90 days from the date that you're hired, you will start accruing vacation time, but you can't use it until after your 90-day probation is over. But after 90 days, you get paid every 2 weeks, and I think our company gets like six hours of pay period. We get paid every 2 weeks too, but after 90 days, you've got a couple of days off if you needed something or had an emergency or
Now,
whatever.
we also accrue sick time the same way. It's 8 hours a month. So it would be 4 hours every pay period. And after your 90 days, you can use sick time if you're sick. But vacation, you don't get to use until you're at a year.
Yeah, ours is strictly paid time off. Like you can, if you're sick, you can use it for that. If you want to take a vacation, go for it. As long as you got enough money in the bank, enough time in the bank, you're good to go.
Now, Leslie, does your program at certain intervals, time intervals, does that accrual change or is it just, okay?
Yeah, ours, from a new hire to 3 years, you earn, it's like almost 6 hours. It's like 5 point something. And then anything from, anything after that is you basically earn 8 hours of pay period. You get a day off for 2 weeks, but, and then they're trying to adopt one because we've got some long-term employees. I mean, I've been working in 6 years. That's how long it's existed. They're trying to bump that where you get like 10 hours of pay period of vacation time. So the more years you work, the more vacation time you.
Correct.
Do you have a top out like it? Okay.
It used to be 120 hours and they just changed it because some of us had like 160 and we would burn days because we're like, I will not lose my time. So good luck, state. We're all the managers are on vacation. So they did top it out at like 160, but usually the people that have 160 are us that have been there.
Been there a long time.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not your newer hire people because they don't get as much time off as we do.
I'm in a similar situation where, 25 years, I am maxed out. And I have to, essentially, I can't take off enough, so every year I have to cash in to keep from losing.
Yeah, we have that too. We have a thing like, if you're over 120 hours and say Colton is out, like he's got some medical something going on, I can take my excess and give it to him to where he continues to get a paycheck the whole time he's off or whatever. Which that's pretty complicated.
We like have a catastrophic policy in this
Yeah.
manual, and I think it would be a great idea.
Yeah, we talked about doing the catastrophic leave bank. Making that work out. Because right now correct me if I'm, go ahead, sorry.
I just have to, this is something that's bothered me ever since I took elective office. And I've talked to Russo about it, I've mentioned it to the judge. And I use the phrase credited, earned and immediately credited, because in my situation, my hire date was January 21st. So I made it all the way to December 31st as an employee. So I was 3 weeks short of being credited another 160 hours to use. But I wasn't allowed to be paid out for it. I wasn't allowed to be credited for it. So I essentially lost 49 weeks, of accrued time simply because I went from being an employee to being an elected official. I was still working here at week 52. I didn't have any interruption in employment, but because the definition of my duties went from being an employee to being an elected official, I lost all that time. I wasn't paid for it, I didn't get to use it. And we've got some people running for office that could feasibly happen to.
108 hours. It's all right.
So you can accrue, or however lingo you want to use, 240 hours, sick time a year, that's what the current
4
policy.
weeks, 160 hours.
You can pay up to 240 for sick.
Oh, you're doing sick now, I was talking vacation.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking sick.
You can only carry forward 40 hours.
Yes.
What she's referring to is the same thing with me. I had 108 hours vacation banked that I could not use because I became an elected official, and the county does not pay out vacation. The county will pay out your sick, but not your, I'm sorry,
That's
backwards.
backwards.
County will pay out your vacation. I had 108 hours sick. The county does not pay out sick. It's a benefit that's earned, but the county policy right now does not pay that out should you leave. Vacation does get paid out.
So what's the,
But I couldn't be paid out because I had 3 more weeks to go. As
Which in my stuff, it is what it is. I'm an elected official now. So I mean, I
and
wasn't
that's kind of what I did
it
too.
is, you know, I won. So I was happy. And it's good, but
Not for
some
those
companies pay out
so
both.
I had credit.
They pay out vacation and sick. That's something we have to discuss all the way through. Leave it up to, I don't know, elected officials' discretion on how they left us on the job. Were they here for 12 years, gave you 2 weeks, found something better? Or were they here for a year and a half and told you to kick rocks and it was no call, no show for 3 days? I think that would be a very nice area for the elected official to have a decision on what part gets paid out, because versus, like I said, so it's been there for some time in, I want to give them both.
Yeah.
You know, hey, they've been a big help us for a decade. They gave you 2 weeks. They're better in their life. It's still a benefit. Or did you not show up? You're here for less than 13 months and almost to give you some more money just for leaving. So I think that's something that we can discuss as well.
I just think there needs to be an incentive, especially for sick time, because if you don't use it, you lose it. Well, what's the point of not using it? Like, might as well call in sick then.
Well, you brought up a good point. People that are maxed out on their sick time.
Yeah.
And don't use it, rather than lose it, you might, I mean, if money's available, you might offer to pay them for 5 hours, or, 5 days, or 10 days, not. Is that making sense?
Like pay them out for.
Like pay, like if, after you earn X amount of days, pay them out a little bit so they still have something in case something happens. But like,
Rather than.
thank
lose
you
it.
for not calling in sick. Here's an extra 5 days worth of pay or something.
Yeah, it's an incentive.
I don't know what the legalities are in paying out sick time. I believe we should raise that cap like Game and Fish does, and the troopers do, because if you were to break your leg and try to come back in that 240 hours, you're gonna burn through like that. I think Game and Fish is at 480 and the troopers are at 560. Don't quote me on that. They're somewhere in that area. But and then maybe bake like you have a catastrophic leave.
Yeah.
Or put it in there. I don't know if you can legally pay out sick time just because you got over your cap. We'd have to look into that.
Or do something like that. where
Correct.
If you're not gonna lose it, then it goes into the catastrophic leave
If
bank.
you've been here for
To
10
give it
years,
to
you
somebody
say you're the
else,
healthiest person in the world, you make 540 hours, and now you're there, give it out there in case Junior has been there for 13 months, breaks his leg. I understand.
As a state employee, I could carry 960.
Oh, 480.
And, in
We have to sustain it.
20 plus years that I was a state employee, I probably was sick maybe 10 days. I lost tons of it. You had to fill out paperwork though to make it somebody else. I did do that.
Well, that's what we've given them what they put together several years ago at catastrophic, and there was all kinds of forms they could do that.
But 240 for sick is,
That's not a lot.
no.
And my other question would be actually for you, Mr. Carter, about
Bring it off when he should.
the lingo of it, because if it's
And we could,
earned,
we could,
if you
We took
earned
up
it, how can they not
collections.
pay
Yeah,
you
yeah, we did.
for it? Is
and we
there
could
a,
continue, yeah.
if it's a,
Yeah, no,
is there a,
times I would do that
I
stuff.
have a problem with the word earned, because if, I agree with Susie, like, if you've earned that, that's yours and they can't take that, shouldn't be able to take that away from you.
Well, see, this county requires some sort of medical evidence.
Okay.
And so you get paid because you have the medical evidence. The state didn't require that. And I think that's a difference. You've earned the right to be paid if you are sick
Right.
and you have the medical evidence. Because if you don't require the medical evidence, you're gonna have people who think, I've built up 240 hours. I'm going to get sick for a month, then I'm going to quit. And
Yeah.
that just leads to problems.
I don't know, my husband works, if you use your sick time, unless, and they can use it for an appointment or whatever, but they have to bring a return back to work. To where they actually get paid for that time.
Makes you feel young.
Have to get a return to work.
It's the state.
That is one thing about our sick policy. In the current manual, it does not say that we can use our sick time for appointments, scheduled appointments. It's only for the inconvenient when we have to call in sick. That would be something that would be.
Would it be, I was gonna say, would it be beneficial? I mean, that's what my husband uses this for, right? Oh, hey, I gotta go to the doctor.
Well, that's what the
Or-
AAC manual says.
Or discretion of the elected official.
I'm gonna use your.
You gotta be careful with that, not being a corporation. Yes. A lot of things can be overdone with it, just that simple term of discretion. of the elected
And it's
official.
Using it for appointments is probably a good idea, but I've seen so many people, I have an appointment at 11 o'clock, I'll take the whole day off. You know,
But if it's their sick time and they earned it, Jackie wants it, Jackie wants.
you can't take the whole day off.
Jackie's got an appointment at 8 o'clock, she wants to take the rest of the day off, it's her time, she earned it, why can't she?
No,
You have to travel the whole day.
you've earned some time. You haven't earned
You use it,
free time to get paid for.
but it's your time.
I guess we view that differently.
So too. What if her appointment was emotional? She
Yeah,
was-
go back to that, and you've got a massive headache.
So I guess each elected official department receives the doctor's notice or whatever. How does that play out?
Only if they're gone for three days in the same element, if I even ask for it. 2 days, that wouldn't be a problem.
But when we're talking about appointments,
Yeah, I believe, like I said, I strongly elected official discretion. I mean, if you got an appointment for your child, I understand that. You take the whole day off of that, I'm gonna deal with you separately as a personnel issue moving forward. All right, again, like I said, we're a county with elected officials, so as we go through this, we gotta keep that in mind. Yeah,
I think your elected officials are gonna know, like,
correct.
picking on Jackie today for, she probably, if she took off the whole day, she probably had legit reason to take off, she didn't feel good or whatever.
Right.
You got Harry over here that's every third day, it's like, oh, that doctor's going,
Correct.
be like, what is going on, dude? You get to work.
A mental day. Maybe I need a
Mental health day.
We need those every day.
Whoa.
Your elected officials.
She's kind of covered that, by the way.
Karen, Melissa, we're done with, conversation.
Detail those mental health days.
Okay, well, I think we have a good start here. Let's try and power through this next month, get as much done as we can on our own, and then come back and see how far we can get in this. We welcome feedback, hope you all come back. We'll send it to you, and give us your feedback, report, if you can't make it, yes.
Would you send the email out to the elected officials to get the information, put it in their response separately. Because it is something that we're discussing right now in open board meetings. So you get it back individually, put them through. But yes, I want to say thank you so much for even taking this task on, because it needs to be dealt with, and I appreciate it. Yes.
Anybody have anything else? Let's adjourn this meeting at 6:25. We'll call it. Motion by Holt. Chuck seconds it. All those in favor? All opposed? Thank you all.
Something that.
Let's need to be a little taller so I can reach over there.
She said.
Perfect. I just took all the comments Karen wrote and wrote them all on here.